Music is powerful. Music is magical. Music can make you sad. And music can even make you depressed. And music can make you peaceful. Anybody can produce music. Even 5-year-old can produce music. However, skillful and trained musicians can have great impact to their audience. So many students who are inclined to music want to study music in college. There are many choices, but then there are usually two big choices. One is music education, and the other one is music performance. Some students choose music education because they don't feel so good about performing. They may get nervous. They may feel like they don't want to perform in front of people. Or maybe they feel so special about teaching. Some people who do not want to teach, but who want to be music performance major because they don't want to deal with high schoolers or middle schoolers or elementary schoolers. But they want to make a living out of performing music. My case was, at first, I wanted to become a professor. I wanted to be an educator. I wanted to teach music. So I entered college, and it changed when I received first commission, big commission. So my music was going to be performed at Carnegie Hall. And they said, well, you have like 2-3 months to finish. Okay. And luckily, it was during the college summer break. So I woke up in the morning, and I composed 3 to 4 hours. After lunch, 3 to 4 hours. And then after dinner, after workout, and then another 2 more hours. Maybe sometimes I compose more than 10 hours a day, and sometimes maybe 6 hours a day. That was wonderful to me. Maybe some people find it like, oh, that sounds just too tiring. But no, it was liberating, and I loved it. And then I was thinking, no, I never want to teach anybody. I just want to compose music. So I was living that way. I finished my degree, and my wife and I moved to LA area, and I was kind of making it as a professional musician. And one day my wife said, well, I think you'll be great at teaching music at high school. And I was not happy with that. First of all, I had to deal with the thought that I am sort of failing as a professional musician. And I was actually offended that my wife said that. She's a lovely wife, but sometimes it's not always like that. But anyway, so I had to think about why was I so offended? Was that a fame that I'm not going to get? If you're a professional musician, so you have a certain fame. People look up to you. People love you. Most cases. And maybe is that why I was maybe a little bit. But then it was probably also musical repertoire. Like if I'm working with the professional orchestras, then I'm going to have really adventurous music. But then if you're teaching at a school, then you have to really think about what your students can play, and you can be very limited. Maybe that's what. Or maybe it was musical quality. So when I was, or when a student is at home, like in high school, if you learn this piece, this is a Chopin's etude, and Chopin never titled this, but some critics titled that it's a sadness or farewell. So you would play something like this. I didn't really play wrong notes, but I'm not sure you actually felt sadness. But if you go to college, and then you love this girl, and then you never get the girl, and then you start playing like this. you start understanding the sadness a little bit. And then maybe 5 more breakups later, you play. So as you get older, your quality changes. Not because you can play music better, well, I mean, in a way better, but then it's more about your maturity. So maybe working with the younger generation, I was thinking like, I'm gonna never get that maturity in the music. Or maybe it was also rehearsal hours. Some professional orchestra meet 1, 2, or 3 times and they have a concert. But with a elementary school orchestra or a high school orchestra, we meet like 20, 30 times, and then we play half of the music. And if you're an elementary school teacher, you may actually have to play Twinkle, Twinkle for about 2 months so that everybody can get it. So maybe, was that? Also, maybe it was probably, if you're a teacher, it's almost becoming like a one-man show. In orchestra, you have a conductor, you have a manager, you have personnel manager, you have setup person, you have all sorts of different things. But if you're a high school teacher, you have to do everything alone, and you try to do literally like, just this, setting the chairs, you move percussion instrument, you gotta do everything. A teacher of mine, when he was 20-some years old, he actually conducted one of the greatest orchestra. And he walked into his conductor's suite, and then there was a man with a towel in his hand to serve him. Man, I wanted the towel man, not like me having towel and clean up the students' mess, It was a very different scenario. And a few years later, my wife's wish or prophecy came true. I became full-time music teacher. And at first, just frankly, the first year, I was depressed. And especially like the first year was a COVID year, so it was more depressing. And the reason why I was depressed is like I had to deal with the thought that probably I'm a failed musician. That was a really big thing. But then second year, I start seeing different things. And then I start feeling like I'm actually okay being a music teacher. And then maybe about third year, fourth year, I love it. I love more than being a professional musician. I love being a high school teacher. Why? I realized several privileges that only music teacher can have. If you're a music teacher, you can take students to different experiences. I took my students to Boston and to play at Boston Symphony Hall 2 years ago. And yes, some people can say, well, anybody can go to Boston. Yes, that's true. But then when are you going to be playing at Boston Symphony Hall? If you're a music teacher, you can create that kind of opportunity for students. When I was conducting a youth orchestra, nobody really liked it, but then I pushed it, and then that was 7 a.m. performance on Sunday morning, 7 a.m. performance at the homeless shelter. Nobody liked it. Why? Call time was 6:30, which means they had to wake up at 5:30, and parents didn't like it. Nobody liked it. I'm not sure I really liked it. But then I thought, this is going to give students an amazing experience. So I pushed it. Okay, let's do this. Students walk up and came, and 6:30, we rehearsed a little bit. Okay, 7 o'clock, we played the music. And these homeless people who were eating, and they all stood up, and they were giving standing ovation to us. And then after the show was over, they were coming to students like they were saying, you guys are amazing. And they were throwing amazing compliments. And I was thinking, I'm not sure these students never received that kind of, not even from their parents or their teachers. It was an amazing experience. And by that time, students forgot, all of them forgot that they sacrificed their sweet dreams on Sunday morning. But then they realized maybe their imperfect skills empowered certain people. As a music teacher, I gave that. I initiated that. And that was just an amazing. Also, you get to actually shape students' lives. Have you heard this term called AQ? We talk about IQ. we talk about EQ, but then what is AQ? AQ is adversity quotient. So it's a measurement about ability to handle any type of adversities in your life. As a music teacher, I am very, very high on this because I really want my students can overcome any type of adversities in their lives. Like it or not, we're going to have challenges in our lives, and I want to help that. It doesn't have to be musical challenges. It can be any type of challenges. So among my friends, I am kind of famous for programming very difficult music for high school orchestra. Why? Because I program it, and at the first rehearsal, we all want to give up. I'm thinking like, why am I making myself and students suffer this much? It just feels terrible. But then at the concert, we successfully perform, and then after the concert, we can talk about it. Do you remember the first time we played that? Do you remember last night we played that? In your life, if you have difficult things, you can overcome, or you can meet the goal. Maybe I am not really teaching music. Maybe I am teaching students to be better people. And if you're a music teacher, you can do it. Also, you can impact students' lives in a more personal level. So if you're a professional musician, you play music, and some people can perhaps meet you after the concert. You can say, they can say to you that it was great. Thank you so much for playing tonight. And you can say thank you. Probably that's the end of the conversation, and you don't know them. Even if you run into them later, you're not gonna remember. But if you're a music teacher, you meet students all the time. If you're teaching elementary school, the students may come to you and talk about how annoying their sisters are, what their cats' names are, and maybe they never talk about music. But you get to know them. You get to know what their thoughts are. When I was teaching a middle schooler piano, so the mother wanted him to keep going with the piano, but then he didn't really like it because his previous teacher taught him very classical way. And he said, I want something more improvising, something more jazzy. And so I said, oh, can you play something for me? And he played something, and he wasn't really good to teach amazing things, yet. So I was like, okay, I'm going to teach you something very simple. You have 4 fingers? And he said, yeah, of course. So if you have 4 fingers, you can play. And then if you can count 5 and 4, you can play. And anybody can play in this one in about 5 minutes. So I taught him this. I taught him that, and I taught the first chord, and then if you are good at it, then you can play something like improvising. And his eyes were opened up. He wanted to learn it. He was excited. I mean, he was a very shy student, so he didn't say, yes, I want to do that. No, he was a very kind of reserved person. But he was excited. So I taught him some things, and then I said, okay, I'll see you next week. And then next week, I met him, and he actually practiced. He could do everything. And then this is my, I think, gift. I love talking. I love asking blunt questions to students. So I said, do you want to impress a girl with the piano? And then this kid, he did not say resounding yes, but then I could see a rays coming out of his eyes, and then hotter than the sun. So I was like, oh my goodness, this guy's ready. So I said, okay. But he did have can you really? Well, so I said if I can get a wife, you can get a girlfriend, So let's try this. But you must do what I tell you. And he says, okay. He was completely submitted and committed. So I said, when you play first chord, do not play, just go in And then imagine she's expecting you to play and then play 1 second later. Let her wait. And then second chord and third chord, you go into the piano. Keep going in. And then you look at the ceiling. And close your eyes a little bit. Halfway and even more. And then fully close and then look at the direction where she is. I asked him to try. He said like he didn't want to try. He was too shy. I mean, he was doing something like, it was awful, but okay, I showed him and, so I talked to him a little bit more and, I assure you, you can get girls' phone numbers, so trust me. All right, and then and the next week I came and then the mother said, I think you're doing a great job. My kid practiced every week, but why is he keep looking at the ceiling? Well, I said, well, that's the part of the process. I'm trying to get you a daughter-in-law, Or I didn't really say that. Like this, if you're a music teacher, you can be really connected with the students, and you can impart the students musical and even non-musical ways. And this is an amazing thing. If you have musical background and if you love playing instruments, and if you love students and you want to influence students in the right way, then I want you to consider being a music major or even being a music teacher. Is it worth being a music teacher? Yes, it is worth it. It is, in fact, in my opinion, is the best and most powerful, most valuable way to live as a musician. Thank you.